Hi, my name is Dan, and this is a video in a series of videos about blueprint scripting in Unreal, and in this one I'm going to talk about compiling. So I have a standard third-person template, and I have a blueprint script, blueprint class, which I created last time, or the time before, and a bit of a script going on in here, and this script just plays some music. Nice music, that's one of the starter content pieces of music, and then brings up a piece of text up at the top left there after 5 seconds delay. So you may have noticed if you were watching the previous video that when I made a change I wanted to run the script, I clicked this button up here, which is the compile button. Now the visual script that we've got here needs to be turned into actual code that can be run. And I believe that this goes through an intermediate phase of being turned into C++ before it then gets turned into the correct actual machine code that runs on a computer. But the details of that aren't important. All I need to know is that I've got my script correct enough that it will compile. So there are some errors that you can get in scripts, which means that something is not valid. And what compiling does is, as well as turning it into something that will run, is actually checks the script to make sure that some things are valid. So I'm going to just add some stuff here, because what I want to show you is what happens when it doesn't compile, when something goes wrong. So I'm not going to spend time talking about what a function is and what a function does. I'm just going to create a function called funky and go back to my event graph and then drag that in. That's creating a node that I can call, and I've just added that onto the end. Now if I click compile now, it's fine. It's going to take it. It says everything's fine. Now it needs to be said that just because a script compiles doesn't mean that it does what you want it to do. There are at least 2 kinds of errors, there's actually several more, but a compile error isn't the same as a logic error. A script can compile fine and not actually do what you want because you've given it the wrong instructions. It still looks valid. The Unreal Engine doesn't know what you want. It can't read minds. The only way you can tell it what to do is by using scripts and to do it correctly. So if you've got a script and it's not doing what you want, but it compiles, it's the programmer's fault. I'm afraid you've got something wrong. Okay. Anyway, what I wanted to do was show you what happens when something is wrong that it won't accept in the compilation. And the reason why I've created a function, because one of the easiest ways to do that is to create a function and then delete that function. That node has stayed even though I have deleted that function. But there's a problem now, which is that function doesn't exist, so this node is referring to something that doesn't exist anymore. Now when I click compile, it's going to be checking that, and it's brought up an error. It says something wrong, and in fact it gets some output down here at the bottom. Could not find a function named funky in my blueprints. Fair enough, because I deleted it. So what I'm going to need to do to make this compile is delete that. Actually, I'm not going to right now, because the other thing I'm going to show you is that if you try and play a game or a level where there are scripts in it that have errors, it will bring up a dialog box. One or more blueprints has an unresolved compiler error. Are you sure you want to play an editor? And this gives you the choice of going away and fixing it before you actually start playing. So I'm going to click back on there. And this gives me the message, and I'm going to delete that node. So all I've done to delete that node is I've highlighted it and clicked delete, the delete button. That's disappeared. I've made a change, so it knows it might not be ready for running. This time what I'm going to do, instead of clicking the compile button, I'm just going to minimize this editor and click play. So what happens when I click play if there are uncompiled scripts is that it will then attempt to compile them before it runs. This time the compilation has worked and we've got our music playing. Okay, so that's what compilation is and how to deal in the most basic sense with compilation errors, the blueprint scripting system has all sorts of advantages. One of them is that compared with doing textual programming, that's writing code with words and special codes and whatever, that's all done in text, you're much less likely to have what are called syntax errors in your blueprint scripts, because there's a whole lot of stuff that just means it's impossible to do so. You can't type something wrong because you're putting in nodes that exist. You can only create nodes that exist, not nodes that don't exist. So the scripting system that they've got does protect you a lot against such errors, but it is still possible to come across them. Okay, that's it from me for now.